Alright, we are here. Now before we continue, make sure to put your video quality to 360p for the true Ukrainian experience. Now let's go. What's up, my dudes? Today, as a way of coping, I'm gonna show you around Ukraine before it gets bombed or nuked by Russians. Now, we're gonna depart out of my hometown. My grandma is still there, so it's gonna be like a quest. We're gonna get my grandma out. Now we depart from Kremenchuk. We're gonna follow the Dnipro river. We're gonna check out what's going on in Kiev. We will refuel at Borispil airport. Then we're gonna follow Dnipro river again, and we're gonna check out Chernobyl. I always wanted to visit it, and I've never done so. So now's the time, I guess. And then eventually we will fly to Polish border. Right. Now before we continue, we have to set up the proper weight for our aircraft. We will be using Zenith STOL. Hold on, balance. There we got fuel. We got both tanks. Let's set up the proper weight. Alright, pilots. Alright, let's be real. Boom. Baggage about 47. You think, why 47? Well, I was thinking about it. Like, imagine if I'm in Ukraine and I want to take my grandmother out of there. What would the baggage be? So I have a Stinger with one payload, an AK and 3 magazines. And if I take it twice for myself and for my grandma, it's gonna be about 47 kilo. Now, as for my grandma, give me a second.
Да, Ваганушка.
А сколько вы весите?
80 килограмм.
Ну все, хорошо. Alright, 80 kilo. So, we are here. In my town we have a few landing strips, grass landing strips. I chose the one closer to town. I chose a Zenith airplane. It's not too fast, not too slow, so we can, look around properly. So, I guess this is my grandma on... Just for our sake, I'm gonna remove the person so it's gonna be easier for us to look around. 1 second. But we'll pretend that the VIP is still there. My grandma being the VIP. So we have our AKs and Stingers right here, I guess. Now, let's see, panel lights off, landing off, nav lights on, strobe lights also on. Actually, maybe we want to be sneaky. Actually no, if we act suspicious, they will shoot us down. We gotta put our trim like minus 12 or 13. Usually when I fly around the city, or I want to look around, the first landmark that I try to find, even though it's not in the game, I still manage to find it. It's my grandmother's tank. Well, that's how I call it. She doesn't have a tank, but where she lives, there's a runabout, and yeah, in the very center there's a tank. And when I was a kid, you know, when I had to visit my grandma or I had to go there by myself, it's a long straight road, and it was like the first landmark that I had to find was the tank, and then I knew my way to my grandmother's house. Right, here's supposed to be the tank, this roundabout. It's supposed to look like this. Now we just follow the main road up until the river. Yeah, now I remember. I used to live where my right wing is now, the tip of my right wing. As I remember, on the left we have the torture house. Well, it's actually the children's hospital, but I call it the torture house because I have many horror stories that happened to me there. I will tell you all about it in this video, I guess, because I have a long way to go. Now there's a Dnipro River with a bridge. The bridge doesn't look the same. It doesn't look like it's supposed to look. Like in the game it's like just a normal bridge, but it's supposed to look like this. It's from the times when the Germans were attacking. Now, this is the Dnipro River. If you go to the left, we have Russian invaders. If you go to the right, we have Kiev and Russian invaders as well. So we will go to the right. There's a big train station that we have. Here's the beach where we used to go when I was a kid, when I used to live there. Yeah. It looks small, but like those are not bushes, those are trees. It's actually big. Pretty big beach. You see those glitches in the water? It wasn't always like this. It started when the Russian invaders arrived. Now the locals are not happy about this. I might as well elaborate on why I called the children's hospital a torture house. Because I have a few stories of myself, and I might tell a few. Now, when I was a child, at a certain moment I could not breathe. There are these two things in your throat. I don't know how you call them in English, but apparently mine were swollen, and yeah, I could not breathe. So we fast forward a little. I'm in the hospital. I can't breathe again, but it's temporarily, you know. And I'm playing with my fellow kids. And all of a sudden a female doctor comes out, and if I remember it correct, all the doctors back in the day, they wore face masks, so you could only see like the eyes. So, and she's acting as if she's trying to get me, you know, like she's playing with our kids, with us kids. But the thing was, she was not playing. She was actually trying to get me, and eventually she gets me. Now she brings me into this room. In the room there are two other people, I believe, two men, two males. They put me on the chair and they hold me down so I cannot move. They put like a ring into my mouth, so so you wouldn't bite. And this one motherfucker, he puts like a iron, how do you call it? The thingy to press your tongue down. But the thing is, he was pressing my tongue onto my teeth, and it started bleeding. And I was like, I was freaking out. I'm a child. I'm trying to tell him, but he's not listening. Eventually, they take this tiny cord, like really, really tiny cord, and they make this special knot. I don't know how you call it, but you know how back in the day how they used to hang people. I believe that's what they made, but like tiny. And they put it in your mouth, into your throat, in order to grab that thing down there. And eventually, when the cord is all around that thing, they yank, they pull and they yank until it's out. And to me, they did it twice, because there's two of them shits in your throat. Now the best part is, well, yeah, they did it twice, but both times they only grabbed half of my thingy. So yeah. Now I have another story. On another instance, I was again in the hospital, and I don't remember why, but anyway, again, they grabbed me, they put me into the room, and oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention, parents are not allowed into the room when the doctors are, working, because they might freak out, they might fuck up the parents, So yeah, they grab me, they bring me into a room, there's people there. I don't remember how many, because I believe I was at my youngest, like that's my earliest memory of that hospital. So yeah, they put me into a chair once again. I don't remember if they held me down or tied me up, where my arms are, but I could not move again. And this time it was fucked up because they were putting syringes into my arm, many of them. And I'm a child, I'm crying and shit, and I'm begging to stop. And this is the fucked up part. The female who was doing all this, she obviously tells me like, yeah, okay, we stop now, but obviously she doesn't, and she continues. She does it again and again. And what was she doing? Like, I only figured out when I got older, because as a child I did not talk about this because I was scared. What was happening is they were practicing on a live target, I guess, and she was trying to get my vein, but she was missing, and she was wiggling the needle under my skin. And I guess since then I got, like phobia or whatever from the hospitals. Like whenever I'm in a hospital, I I don't like being in a hospital, you know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, we're almost in Kiev, so let's change the subject. Welcome to Refueling Airport. The way we are flying right now, usually it's not allowed, but in the times of war, the press got a permit, like we got a permit to record. This guy, what is he doing? Looks suspicious. Very suspicious. Anyway, this is the Refueling Airport, and I decided that we will not land here because the invaders are lurking in the distance on the horizon. So we will land and refuel a bit further, on the edge of Kiev. But for now, let's enjoy the scenery of the airport. Alright then, welcome to Kiev. There's not many stories I have, not many personal stories I have from Kiev, because as a child the only thing I cared about was, you know, when we arrived that we would go to McDonald's. That was legit my thing as a kid. But yeah, this is where the invaders are trying to get, right here. But they will not succeed. Alright, so instead of refueling at Borispil, we're gonna refuel at the edge of Kiev. Because as you can see, we're on about 40% fuel and we still have to go to Chernobyl. Chernobyl is that way. So is the enemy. So we got Kiev behind us. We got a grass airfield in front of us. This is where we land and refuel. Let's go. Alright, my dudes, we are refueled, well fed and good to go. So I guess let's go. This plane likes to climb by itself, as you can see, so it's really easy to take off. Now for some reason, like right now I see no people flying around, but usually there's tons of people at night. I can even show you, hold on. So yeah, people like to fly above Kiev at night. And I'll have to be real with you. So far we flew through all these cities, like my hometown, Kiev. The roads, okay, the roads look like what it's supposed to be, but the actual city, not so much, because unlike New York or Boston, those were handmade. Well, these cities are just like satellite imagery, and then whatever game thought it would look like, that's what it looks like right now. But like my hometown is supposed to look like this, like the buildings are supposed to be this tall. Well, Kiev is supposed to have more tall buildings. Like this is not it. But anyway, since we made over here, let's go and check out Chernobyl. Welcome to Chernobyl City, my dudes. From this point, we will go and check out the big ass radar. Then we will fly over the Red Forest to see the nuclear reactor. And then we will go to Pripyat to check out, you know, the building that we all saw in video games and movies. So yeah, that's the plan for now. Let's go. Alright, so this was supposed to be the old school Soviet anti-ballistic missile early warning network. But I guess the game made a hell out of it. Alright, so if I am correct, this pool of water is supposed to be the cooling pond. That means this is the Red Forest, and those buildings are the nuclear reactor. And that case, that right there is the Pripyat. Right, the red forest, it's not that red, but they call it this way because it's very contaminated. I suggest we get a little bit closer to have a better look. Yeah, the buildings look way off. There's supposed to be a huge dome around this area. And this, what is this? It looks like a hill, but there's not supposed to be a hill. Hopefully in the future they will update this area. It would be nice to see when it looks proper, like in real life. Right, so let's get to Pripyat. So these are the buildings that you know from the Call of Duty game or the horror movies or those documentaries. This is usually the area that they show you, and obviously the reactor in the back, but you know, it doesn't look proper in the game. I was told not to land on the buildings in Chernobyl because supposedly the roofs are not stable. But hey, we are professionals, so we know what we are doing. So before we end the video, I guess let's land on a tall building and hope that we don't crash or fall to the roof. Alright, so we well, anyway, make sure to leave a like. You don't have to subscribe if you don't want to, but if you want to stay up to date with our upcoming videos, you do make sure to subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.